Hello everyone, this is James from 3D Printing Reviews and welcome to part 2 of our series on upgrading the NFire1 Delta printer. So in this video we're going to have a look at designing the bed mount for the new heated bed upgrade. The software I'm using, or the application I'm using, is called Tinkercad. It's an online browser based CAD program that allows you to basically construct parts and edit STL files, etc. Now I've actually already created the bed mount. So if we click into this, tinker this, and this will load up our part, and you'll very briefly there just saw what this part, or what this bed mount is made up of. So the reason I'm not going to build this part from scratch in this video is basically because it took a few different versions to get a part that worked, and I think this is just easy if I show you what I've made and then work backwards and show you how I made it. So if I click this part here, so that gives you the dimensions there. So it's 20 by 25 millimeters, and then a total height from the top to the bottom of 10 millimeters. So highlight that part. If we then click ungroup, you'll see that our bed mount is made up of several other parts. So let's start with the obvious part here. This circular object represents our heated bed, or what is going to be our heated bed. So we can see here it's 220 by 220 by 4 millimeters, and what that allows us to do is create a curve for our that will basically, because we've set this on what's called hold, anything that we intersect it with will be removed, or that part will be removed. So this part is going to sit very nicely around the edge of our heated bed. So if we just have a look at what the actual mount is made up of, we have a square part and a circular part, and they're just, at the moment, they're two separate parts, and they just I think that just gives a nice shape to the bed mount, and this is the part we'll basically see, this curved part here. If we then have a look at these cylinder shapes here, this first cylinder shape is the hole that the mount is used to mount the mount to the actual NFire1. The reason I've designed that is because basically the way the NFire1 is, it has a bottom plate which is an acrylic shape, and it already has 3 mounting points for a bed. So I'm just going to reuse those mounting points, and it just so happens that the 220mm heated bed covers up that mounting point. So then what I've had to do is create this slightly bigger cylinder which is recessed down into the part, which will basically allow us to our bolt head to sit below where the bed will be. So that's what those two cylinders are. The next cylinder is what we'll use to actually attach the bed to the mount, and that's just a 3 by 3.5mm by 3.5mm hole which goes all the way through, and then this big block here is just purely to add a chamfer on the front of the mount, or the front of the mount, just to give it a more pleasing look basically. So once you have put all these components into the Tinkercad workspace, if you highlight all of these parts and click group, you'll see that it does its cutaway of the circular part, the recessed part here, and these where the 2 mounting holes, and then we've got our chamfer here. So that's how I designed the mount for the heated bed. Like I say, I designed it purely because, or done it this way rather than building it from scratch, because I ended up printing 8 different versions of this off, and then having to add or make small adjustments to get to the exact mount that we needed. So what you would do once you've designed your part, that you've done some trial tests, and you're ready to print the full version, you would just go up here to design and then download for 3D printing. Select STL file, because that's what most slicing software uses, and you just click that, and that has then downloaded the file down here. And then you would then slice that in your preferred slicing software. I use Simplify 3D. I won't go into the details on how to slice it or settings, for example, because that's up to you basically how you do it. I personally have, I think this is using a 30% infill, 3 perimeters, and yeah, so 230 degrees for the ABS temperature and 60 degrees for the heated bed. And these are being printed on my Printerbot Metal Plus, just purely because the NFire1 is currently in parts while I'm upgrading it. So like I say, already printed this, so I'll now cut to a time lapse of the bed mounts being printed, and then when we come back we'll have a look and see actually how they fit around our heated bed and how they mount. So yeah, back soon.
Okay, hello everyone. So that was a quick time lapse of the bed mounts being printed. I've taken them off the print bed, and I've attached 2 of the bed mounts here, and I'll attach the 3rd one in a second. But I just wanted to show you how the mount actually looked after it had printed. So you can see here that middle hole with the recess is where that bolt goes through. And as you can see, it's actually covered by the heated bed, hence the reason why to recess it. And you can also see where the other hole has come into play to mount the bed. As you can see here, I've just lined up the test pieces that I did, so that's why I designed the piece and then show you backwards on how it was actually made, because there's quite a few revisions before we got to where we needed to be. So yeah, I'll fit the 3rd bed mount and we'll have a look how it fits onto the printer.
And here's a quick speedy up bit of me fitting that 3rd bed mount. Enjoy!
Okay, now as you can see, I've fitted the 3rd bed mount, and you can see that it lines up perfectly with the existing mounting point on the NFire1 bottom plate. If I just pan out a little bit, you can see how that's going to look. I've still got to fit the springs and 3D print some bed leveling knobs, so that will be the next thing to print. Just let that focus in, there we go. So yeah, looking pretty good for the heated bed upgrade of the NFire1.
Please like, comment and subscribe.